Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Richard Daniel, and this is my kind of like my weekly variation of Mr. Rick's Place. And so today I have some exciting guests by the name of Daniels. Daniels. And they are two brothers, and they both have a very exciting and interesting story, but they also have a very excellent talent they have, which is music. And through these musical talents they have done a lot of achievements. They have done a lot of achievement with each other. So I'm gonna start off with asking Mr. Vernon Daniels, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing excellent. And yourself?
I'm all right. I'm all right
Cool.
today.
Cool.
So number one, I need to let you give me something like a bio and kind of start off with the talk about basically how did you start off being a musician and what inspired you to pick up your instrument. And I can ask your brother the same thing. What's his name? Mr. Derwin Daniels. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good, Richard.
Okay.
Good.
So
Well,
number one, where are you both located at now?
I'm in Houston, Texas,
Houston.
originally from Beaumont, Texas. I
All right.
moved here by way of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay. So how about you, Derwin?
I'm in Conyers, Georgia, which is east of Atlanta, and I've been here about 21 years now in the Atlanta area.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now, there, Vernon, start off the talk now. How did you basically start off with music and with through the family or orientation or you know?
Well, uh, it's, I guess I started out doing this I guess, a little kid. My mother told me I was one of those kids that used to get sent home from school in the first grade with notes pinned to my shirt for beating on the desk with pencils.
Hmm.
So I guess it started back then, and it was just one of those situations. It was just natural for me. It's almost like for me to play drums. It was just a natural thing. I mean, I wasn't supposed to do anything else.
Could you say like it was you basically coming from New Orleans? You posted mostly picked up that skill. You know, I know a lot of you know musicians come from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I would say that's kind of like a hidden trait.
Well, my father and mother were both, from Louisiana. Although I grew up in Texas, I did spend some time in the New Orleans area once I went to college. But I was playing. Ooh, it's I guess you know I started out, I guess, playing maybe in the second, third grade. Um, as I got older, I went through I guess, the process of getting, I guess, formal education in music or drums when I got to middle school, or as we used to call it then, junior high, which was the sixth grade. And so that's when I started getting, I guess, the formal training. But prior to that, I was playing just, kind of on my own.
Hey,
You
Richard.
know, yeah.
Wait a minute, Richard. I'm the older brother, right?
Okay, I'm
So
gonna let
I
you
saw
lead.
Vernon. Look, I
You might
saw.
have a
Wait a
little
minute.
bit more memory than he got.
Yeah, I saw Vernon when he was probably 2 or 3 years old. He got a little snare drum for
Uh-huh.
Christmas, and he was playing. He was playing rhythms and playing stuff, and then he would beat on the trash cans and all kind of stuff. Then he got a drum set. You remember? I don't know. You remember that first little drum set you got?
I mean, it seemed
He
like I
was
used
about,
to get a little toy drum set for Christmas.
at I don't know, 3 years old, 4 years old, whatever. And he's just been playing. He would always beating on stuff, but like I said, the trash cans, the pots, all that kind of stuff. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm the older brother, so I saw him doing this kind of stuff before he can even remember he was doing it. But I did see him sit down Christmas morning and play that drum set that he got. You know, the little toy drum sets you get and he sat down and played a groove, played like some James Brown stuff, you know.
On the one. Now, through all this learning and starting off, basically any high school or junior high school pickup when somebody basically you had an instructor or mentor basically saw this skill in you and they tried to install what he saw inside of you in order to try to mold and guide you. So who are some of your mentors, I would say?
Well, for me coming up, I had older brothers and they all played in, little bands and stuff. So the guys that was playing drums with them were the ones I looked up to. Incidentally, there was one guy in particular, and his name was James Hebert. And it was kind of like every now and then I was, go to rehearsal with him. And it's like I'd watch him do some stuff. And after I'd get home, I'd try to emulate the stuff that I saw him doing. And he was like one of my first greatest mentors and influence on me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, there we go. Let's let you do a little talking now. When did you basically find out about the saxophone?
Well, my first instrument was a clarinet.
Mm-hmm.
My dad gave me a clarinet that it was a guy that he knew went to Juilliard. I think he was studying at Juilliard, and he got frustrated with a passage that he couldn't play, and he threw the horn against the wall, broke it in half.
Oh, man.
So when I was about 6 years old, my dad gave me that clarinet, and he glued it back together and gave it to me. And it's so funny about the reeds too. This guy would bring us reeds, a box of reeds, and I didn't know it at the time, but they were all used reeds. Like when he was repairing instruments, he'd take the reeds off and put them in a box. So somebody been playing on those reeds for I don't know.
Oh, man.
And they would give me those reeds, and I'd put it on the clarinet, and I would play it. Matter of fact, there was the handle was broke on that thing, and I had a necktie that was tied. You remember that clarinet?
Yeah.
It had a necktie as the handle, for the handle to pick it up. So I was about 6 years old, got the clarinet, and I started learning to play. I could play the notes, and we would do things around Christmas time at church and all that. And I remember I couldn't read music or anything like that. My dad would arrange music for the cantatas and for the Christmas. And I told him, I said, well, I can't read or anything. He said, just play. And so he figured I would learn just by ear. I could, if I heard "Oh Holy Night," or one of these. So you're
saying your parents had musical skill?
Yeah, our dad was a musician. He was Navy. He was a Navy musician. He actually started saxophone when a nun taught him in Lake Charles, Louisiana, at a Catholic school.
Okay, all right. I see now. Okay. So later on, when you got into high school, and I know a lot of us excel in, like all city bands. What led y'all to basically when you left New Orleans and when you got down to Houston? What did all this tie in at?
Well, you know what? Let's back up. We were actually in Beaumont, Texas. That's where we grew up. So we really didn't come in from a New Orleans perspective, but our dad was in Lake Charles. That's where he grew up, and my mom was born in Texas too. So we were both came up in Texas, Southeast Texas. But of course, it's close enough to the Louisiana border where you got Zydeco.
Yeah.
You got the blues. You got the, it's a mix of music right there.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, but that was it. Going up, I started playing more drums because I played clarinet. I saw Vernon playing, so I picked up and started learning how to play drums too.
So I wrapped my head. You play a little drums too,
Yeah.
You play a lot of drums.
Yeah, a lot of drums. Yeah, I believe that mostly all musicians are mostly multifaceted. I play a little instruments. I play the keyboards and the drum, the guitar, and everything. Basically, like I'm saying, the keyboards are basically the basis of all the instruments that you learn to play. So through going to college, when did this all start? Did you get any kind of scholarships and anything from just being a musician, a great musician, or excellent musician? I know a lot of people shoot for you. And who all famous mostly that you tie in with? Most time you got a lot of people that basically when you playing in a club scene, there's a lot of people that really kind of professional and some are semi-professional. You got some professional educators and they play in school. They're mostly band teachers, but most of the time they play out in the clubs and stuff like this. So basically, and that kind of goes back to the mentor thing. Who basically kind of took you up on the wing and showed that basically you got it to be a professional musician?
Well, I guess I guess you're considered a professional when you get paid.
When you get
That first gig, yeah.
So yeah. My first gig, I was in the third grade.
Third grade.
And Derwin, what grade were you in?
I was in the sixth or seventh. I might have been in sixth or seventh. No, you were.
Okay, I was in the fourth grade then. If you were,
I was seventh grade. Okay,
we played. I had a snare drum, and he had a bass drum, and we
borrowed them. We borrowed them from the middle school. From the middle school,
I wasn't even in middle school yet. But anyway, you know, Santa Claus came in a helicopter to the mall, and you know, we were like the little drummer boys, I guess, and we got paid, and it wasn't a lot. I think it was like maybe $10 or something like that.
We got enough to get some ice cream. I remember it looked like.
But the thing about it being a kid, you know, in the fourth grade, I was like, wow, man, I can get money for doing this. This is all right. And that just ruined me for life.
Okay, now, like you're saying, like it was like a chosen profession from birth. And I did a little study on Derwin, and I found out he had done some work with I think he called him Sugarfoot. And basically you took the place of Snatch, huh?
Satch, yeah, it was Satch.
Yeah, Snatch.
Well, yeah, think about the original horn players with Ohio players, Satch and Pee Wee and all those guys.
Yeah,
they passed away.
Yeah,
they passed away. So Sugarfoot was coming back after he had a little health problems, and he said, "I'm ready to start gigging." And this guy introduced me to him. It's so funny. And like I said, I started on clarinet, but I switched over to saxophone later after many years playing drums. I gigged on drums for many years. So I switched over to the horn, started playing, and I learned Sweet Sticky Thing. I remember learning the solo to that song because I just always liked the song. And I'd be doggone. On it for about a week or two later, this guy said, "Hey man, I want you to come over and meet, Sugarfoot and stuff." So they were practicing some vocal stuff on like Skin Tight and all these songs, and then they went to Sweet Sticky Thing, and I pulled the horn out and I played the solo just like the record, right?
Oh man.
And Sugarfoot, he said, "Man," he said, "nobody played that like the record. Not even Satch. Satch never played it like the record." He said, "I'm putting you over the horn section." I was like, "You putting me over the horn?" And I said, so at that point, I contacted a good friend of ours at North Carolina A&T, John Henry, Dr. Henry, and I said, "Hey man, I need some charts for some of the Ohio players." And he did. He charted some of the stuff for him, and then I charted some of it myself. I could do some lightweight charting at the time. And and I got the gig and had the charts for the horn section. We went out with a 3-piece horn section.
Let me ask you something, Derwin. I'm kind of like a music guy, musical real. I do a lot of listening, and I listen to that polygram. And some of those recording techniques, man, the Ohio players did, man, there's some, man, I don't know how they layer all those different layers of those voices and the drum patterns and all, but
Yeah.
and you know, a couple of days ago I was on YouTube and I'm pulling it up and in the realization and the sound quality after all these years is still there, man. I mean, who was
Yeah. Ohio players music, it still holds up, and you know why?
yeah.
They would spend a couple of days just on miking the drums.
Oh, okay.
So if you hear that drum sound that Diamond was getting on those recordings, and you can go back to the earlier recording when they did Funky Worm and all that kind of stuff. That was before he got in the group, right?
Yeah.
Pain and all that stuff, Diamond, the drummer. But once they got in and they started with Skin Tight and all those, he said they would, Sugarfoot told me this, they would spend sometimes 2-3 days just on miking the drums.
Just miking the drum.
Just miking. Matter of fact, I know on the song I Want to Be Free, I can hear one of the pedals squeaking in that tune. Like the foot, one of, you know what I'm talking about, Vernon? Like with a foot pedal, one of the hi-hat, I can hear a squeak.
Yeah.
My thing was mic'd that well, so you can hear the squeaking of one of the pedals as he's hitting the drum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he said so that in itself really helps to hold up the sound. Some of the songs, he said, they were more like 20 or 30 minutes long. They were just in there playing, but they chopped them up and made a song.
Yeah.
Like Skin Tight originally could have been 30 minutes long, but they took.
Yeah, I know. I heard the repeat version. It's a pretty long version now too, man. I think it's about 15 minutes long, man.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's not what I'm mixing. They would just go in sometimes, and he said they would go in and they'd have an idea and they would flesh that idea out and it turned into a song. And it's amazing some of the other songs that they heard other songs and they turned them in, but the music still holds up. And you know, they were a group that started in 1959.
59.
So 1959, Sugarfoot came into the band. Yeah, to the mid 60s. They were called the Ohio Untouchables before the Ohio Players. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember one night I was a student down in North Texas and they showed up and I think they had about a 5 horn, member horns, you know, and there's a lot of them up there. And they had these long white capes on and all.
They're right. Hey, man, if I can show you some of the outfits that I wore, I mean, some of the stuff I went like a drum major or something.
Oh,
you know, we had another outfit we called Captain Crunch. We all looked like Captain Crunch when we walked out on stage, you know. So yeah, but that was how that went, you know.
Okay, now we talking about who all else have you played with now? Call a couple of names now.
With me? You talking about me?
Yeah, both of y'all.
Oh, Vernon, go ahead. Vernon know he played with a whole bunch of people too.
I play with so many people. It's just being here in Houston. I used to work. I worked a lot with a saxophonist named Kyle Turner, and a lot of artists would come through, and we played behind them. And I mean, he's
a radio man too, Ron. He got a radio show, don't he?
Yeah, he does. He's on the air at KTSU.
Yeah.
Here in Houston, and I think he's on 2 to 5 weekdays. Yeah. But I've played with. It's like I'm just losing it now. Marion Meadows, Kim Waters, Reagan Whiteside. Here in Houston, I played with Joe Sample, Bobby Lau, Kirk Whalen, Yolanda Adams, Tom Brown. A lot of people. I've even played behind a couple of actors and actresses. I played behind actually Kim Fields, the actress. She
vocal work.
Yeah, I was in Baton Rouge at the time, and it was an event, and she came down and played behind her. I played behind what's the guy? Is it Dan Aykroyd? The
Blues Brother.
Blues Brother, yeah. Um, and I've had the opportunity to work with Spike Lee, and was in the movie School Days.
School Days. Oh, so
Yeah,
you know Terrence Branson too, huh?
yeah. Well, actually,
What about Michael Henderson?
oh, I played with Michael Henderson. Actually, did a show with him in Dallas. Played with
That's the guy
Sherelle.
with Miles Davis, huh? Or after?
Huh?
That's after the guy with Miles or what? It was after.
Oh, it was after. Yeah. Guess
Uh-huh.
this was during a he'd always come out, he'd do a little tour around the Valentine's Day, do the
Yeah.
Valentine love thing.
What are you saying? You are my starship?
Yeah.
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 What about
This tune, wasn't it?
Vernon? Didn't you play behind Dizzy Gillespie?
Oh, well, yeah, that's when I was in college, with the stage man. He came through and
You
played.
went to college now. I want you to tell you about that. What college you go to?
Oh, I went to Southern University, Baton Rouge,
University.
Louisiana.
Oh, Southern University. Oh, I'm gonna put the Texas on there. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you was off in the marching band or the stage?
Yep. I did the marching band thing with I was under the direction of Dr. Isaac Greggs.
Uh-huh.
And so yes, I worked quite a bit, in the Baton Rouge, New Orleans area when I was, in Baton Rouge. I stayed out there. I lived out there almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So and
You got any public or any kind of education real good like in a college band like that too?
Well, yeah. Originally, when I first left high school, I went to Texas Southern and was in the Ocean of Soul briefly though, and then I went back to hometown to become a firefighter. I was a firefighter.
Oh.
So I was just gigging on the side and playing, doing my job and gigging on the side and doing all that. And I was playing drums mostly. I moved over to the saxophone, and I recorded my first solo CD while I was still coming to grips with that. I took some lessons talking about a mentor. It was Wendell Brooks. He kind of helped me out when I got started. He's a saxophone player in Houston area. And Wendell's, he had got I think he played with some folks in Japan. I think he had a gig with the Rolling Stones and some other folks.
He played with Simon Phillips for a long time. The drummer.
Simon Phillips, yeah, all those guys. So I started moving more into the horn, playing my horn, which was a little bit late, but I did some sharing and got into it. I went to Lamar University, played in their jazz band in Beaumont, and played drums in the jazz band there. But then wound up finishing from Lamar, I wound up going to University of Houston, but it wasn't in music. I got more into technology and got degrees in those areas. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was it for me as far as education-wise. I've done that. Matter of fact, taught college for a while, yeah.
Oh, you taught college. Oh, okay. That's what I'm.
Yeah, it was more in the emergency management field, that kind of thing, teaching college. But
no high school experience?
You said what kind of high school?
High school. You been in any high school experience?
You mean as far as teaching?
Yes, sir.
No, I've done some mentorship or gone in and worked with different sections of, let's say a band director calls me in and wants me to put on maybe a little just a class or do something like that. I've done it.
Let me ask Vernon a question. Do you know anything about Mr. Conrad Johnson?
Absolutely.
I went to school with a couple of students right there. He's a bass player. He went to North Texas with me, and they kept saying about Cashmere Gardens.
Yeah.
I said, "What is this, man?" He had a lot of people, man, in that band could read music, man. And he said, "Who's the band instructor?" Mr. Conrad Johnson. I did a little research, sir, and I found out about the first female trumpet player by the name of Miss Cora Bryant. You know her?
I don't know Cora. No.
Yeah, she played with Dizzy a long time ago, and
okay.
Yeah, back. Yeah, that's how long he been in there. He been up there a long time.
Well, Conrad, yeah, I like I say, he's here in Houston, and at Cashmere High School, and I had different people that I knew that I played with that came from Cashmere, and it wasn't until I moved to Houston because he had an outside big band, it was Conrad Johnson, the Big Blue Sound. And I had the opportunity to rehearse with him a couple of times, and filling in for the regular drummer or whatever. And I got a chance to know him. He's a real cool cat. And like I said, it's quite a few guys that I played with that came up under him, and they're killer musicians too.
Okay, now we have about 9 minutes left on this conversation. Now I want to ask you, what are some of the equipment you use now? What's your drum set of preference?
Oh, I have a couple of kits that I play. I have the small sonar kit. It has a 16-inch kick drum, and it's when I have a little lightweight gig, don't need a real big setup or whatever, I grab that. And then I have a Gretsch kit that I play with an 18-inch kick drum. And then I have a Premier kit that has a 20, and also just picked up a Pearl kit that's a Master Series with a 20.
Okay, how about you, Derwin? What's your saxophone you playing now? What kind? I'm kind of like a expert on horns and stuff too. I know everybody wants that Selma you got, and
Yeah. Well, on soprano, I play Yannick Asawa.
yeah.
Yannick Asawa, and I'm playing a stock mouthpiece, and with the Lavaz reed, probably like medium to medium soft, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And then alto, I have a King alto that I play on with one of those Java jazz mouthpiece. It's the red mouthpiece. And it was a guy with the Daz band. We were out in Los Angeles, and he said, "Hey man, try this mouthpiece." So of course I go and grab the mouthpiece and I put it on the horn. And he said, and I just took my reed off that I had. I think I was playing on a pretty strong reed. So I go out on stage, I blow the horn, nothing comes out. Mm-hmm. I was like, that, I was upset. I'm like, I'm out here in Los Angeles, in LA. I think we were doing a gig with The Time and all these different people. And I walk out there to Charles playing, and I had to really push to get sound out of that mouthpiece. Well, but basically, I'll tell you a little bit more about that story. But on tenor, well, let me stop. I'll tell you about the mouthpiece because I changed the reed. I talked to Kyle. I actually called Kyle Turner. I said, "Hey man, I got this Java Jazz mouthpiece." He said, "Derwin, try softer reed." I put a 2.5 on it. Uh-huh. It's the best mouthpiece I ever had. Best. I mean, I can blow soft. When I push it, I can get sound. I mean, it's just a great mouthpiece for me to use. And in my reeds, I use the Java reeds. They call it Java Red because they have some in the green package. They got them red, the blue package, but I use the red package. And on tenor, I'm actually playing my dad's horn, which was a Busher. Mm-hmm. It's the Big Bell Busher, not the. It's the Aristocrat. So the Aristocrat, it's a 1949 Busher that I'm playing on. My mouthpiece setup is the Runyon mouthpiece. There was a guy in Louisiana named Runyon. He made these mouthpieces, and I use his. It's not a metal; it's the hard rubber. And I play on the. The Java reeds, the red threes, the threes.
Yeah. Okay, now I know it's pretty soon. We're getting ready. We all up kind of quarantine and everything like that right now. What are some of your plans for the future now? What are you planning to do? I know you got a holiday album, Christmas album.
Yeah.
And do you got any more plans for recording, anything like that now? Are you anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working with Virtuoso Music now. This label, Virtuoso Music, with Victor McLean, who has the label as a distributor, and I'm releasing a version of Sweet Sticky Thing. Actually, it's an instrumental version. Mm-hmm. And the holiday CD, and I recorded the holiday CD. It's been a little while ago. I have an original tune in there called Holiday House, and that project is going to be released too. Also, it's getting close to Christmas, so sometime around Christmas we'll have the whole thing out, because I previously only released just that one cut, but I'm going to release the rest of that project too. So that's coming up. And
Vern, then,
I'm looking forward to.
You got anything in the can?
I've been trying to get after it. It's just, I've had the opportunity to record with so many other people, and I've never done it myself. So everybody's like, dude, it's time. You need to go in and do it, even if it's just for documenting some of your stuff. You got it. So I'm in the process of trying to get some stuff.
Maybe you can be like Art Blakely. I did some study on Art Blakely. He said Art Blakely went to Africa, man. And when he went to Africa, he changed his name. You know what I'm saying? He changed his name, and he was real charged up, man, when he started. And everybody I know almost in the jazz, man, they came through his band, man. I can call out some names, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, he had to be a real interesting person, man, for all those different people to really come through him like that.
Absolutely.
So as we get ready to wind down, I really appreciate y'all talking to me, and maybe next month or something we can have a part 2, and we can go through a little bit more when I have a little bit more time on my site, and we can discuss some playing problems, some technique problems you have, and playing the instruments that we master. I know I'm a trumpet player, and one of my problems I have is my mouthpiece and my embouchure. And trumpet players will mostly have to play and practice all week because our muscles, man, they tend to, get weaker, man, and sometimes with age, your teeth shift and stuff like that. So basically, you have to really keep up on it, man. You know what I'm saying? So, what are some of the problems you mostly have? And we got about 3 minutes playing the saxophone, sir. Man, I mean, what do you really find out? I know I did some studies with this guy said that this guy that Coltrane played this mellow mouthpiece. A lot of players like David Sanborn and Michael Brucker, and all of them had kind of, they say they didn't have real good tone quality because, some of the mouthpiece and stuff that they use. So what do you think?
Well, your gear is one of the toughest things to match up in your setup on saxophone. If you're playing, what kind of mouthpiece you're going to play on, but anything that you play on, you still got to do those long tones, and you got to build those muscles around here too for those. I call this the push-ups and the sit-ups right here. It's like an athlete would go and do all the push-ups and sit-ups. You have to play those long tones to keep this going where you can grip that mouthpiece. But yeah, you're right. Some mouthpieces will give you more volume. But I remember when I first started playing sax, this guy told me, I said, well, look, this mouthpiece gives me more volume. And he said, you want to give up volume for tone? He said, put a mic in it. I was like, okay. So I strive to get a mouthpiece and a setup that's going to give me a really good tone. And then, like I said, if I need more volume, go ahead and put a mic on it.
All right. Now we're getting ready to wind down, and I like to say, you got any contact numbers you want to
give? I can be reached, I guess, website, vernsmusic@hotmail.com. Phone number, area code 713-927-3671.
Okay.
Hey, I'm on social media, Facebook, Derwin Daniels on Facebook. I'm Virtuoso Music, Derwin Daniels, Virtuoso Music. So just hit me up. I got contacts right in those places, and get right in touch.
All right. Thank you for this marvelous interview we did today, and all 3 of us named Daniel.
Right.
Yeah, that's right, and all those playing instruments too. You know what I'm saying?
3 Ds, yeah.
It's all going with the one.
Yes,
so I
sir.
thank you all today for being on my show today, and next week I'll shoot you a copy. I'll let you watch, and I'll show you how I'll dress it up. I'm putting music and pictures and everything on there, and you're gonna be on YouTube.
Okay.
All right.
Thank y'all for watching today, and have a nice day. And keep playing that music, man.
All right.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Peace.